could Jschlatt be getting revived soon? Recently we saw Quackity's lore stream, and during it we got a sneak mention of Jschlatt being in limbo.
I know some people in limbo, man. There's this like drunk guy who said he used to be like president and shit.
And although this was just sort of an Easter egg, it did take me back to Quackity's previous lore stream where we met Jschlatt. Now Jschlatt is Jschlatt's ghost that lives on the mainland. He has a hideout which is a sort of ghost gym, and during that lore stream there was a few things said about the revival book and a bet made where Quackity has to revive Jschlatt. And now that we've seen the end of Las Nevadas, we can pretty much tell who won this bet.
See, there's a book. I heard it can bring me back too. This green guy that comes down sometimes hints at it. He's got a book, like a book.
You want me to use a book to revive you?
After Jschlatt explains what the book does to Quackity, Quackity laughs at this because obviously he doesn't want Jschlatt back alive, and goes on to make a bet. This bet involves Las Nevadas.
I've been a lot into business recently, and I've been building my own thing. Yeah, yeah. I'm very understaffed. I got a big country and no one in it, so I'm very understaffed. You want the revival book? You want me to bring it to you? You and me go to my country. We gamble on it. Okay, we place a bet. And if I lose that bet, I have to go to Dream, get that revival book, and you do what you need to do with it. But if I win this bet, you never, ever come back to life. In fact, you don't only not come back to life, you have to work for me in perpetuity. You never revive. You're never brought back to life. And you work under my command this time.
So with the bet outlined, we know that if Quackity wins that bet, then Jschlatt's ghost will have to work for Las Nevadas for eternity, with no payment or anything. But if Jschlatt wins, then Quackity will have to retrieve the revival book and eventually revive Jschlatt. And if we take a look at the most recent lore stream that Quackity's done, we never saw Jschlatt work for Las Nevadas. Jschlatt hasn't helped with Las Nevadas or anything. But we also know that Quackity never got the revival book, even after trying to get it. So if Jschlatt's not working for Las Nevadas, we can assume that Jschlatt won this bet and is just waiting down at his ghost gym to be revived. And the only thing in between Jschlatt being revived is actually Quackity retrieving the revival book. Now another thing we can take into account is the fact that Dream SMP Season 2 will be starting up soon. And although we don't know every single thing about Dream SMP Season 2 just yet, from the changes that Dream has mentioned that if you don't know about, there's a video you can watch after this, it is quite possible we do see Jschlatt coming back to the server. As a big question that's being asked is whether people's hearts get basically revived. Do everybody on the server get 3 canon hearts again? Because if there's going to be a sort of new story or a new chapter in this story, and as Dream mentioned, people's relationships will be changing, does that mean that the whole thing sort of reboots and people who had died and were in ghost form now come back to life? Personally, I'd really love to see this happen. I really like the 3 heart system, but it's getting to a point now where a lot of people are on 1 heart or 2 hearts, and at some point there's going to be way too many people in ghost form, and I just don't see that working for any storyline if half the people are actually dead. So a reboot on the 3 heart system would be pretty cool, and that would also mean that Jschlatt could come back to the story. That's if he wants to. Now there's no guarantee that Jschlatt wants to join the Dream SMP once again, and that's fair enough. The way his story unfolded and how it ended in general was very good, and him being brought back as the same character he once was seems pretty unnecessary. So the only way I ever see Jschlatt joining the story again is if his character is sort of reworked and is completely different to the villain that he once was. He can still be a villain as a new character, just doesn't have the links to L'Manberg and things. Which, if Dream SMP Season 2 goes the way that I think it will, could potentially happen. And if you have no idea about Dream SMP Season 2, check out the video which is on screen, it'll explain as much as we know.